Time now for the Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.
Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. This is your host for the day, Andrew Colvett, executive producer of this fine show. To those of you listening around the country, we're honoring our friend and the host of this show, Charlie Kirk. And it's his friends, the people that work closely with him to make this show, to make so much of the content, that are gathered around this table in his studio. His chair is empty because nobody will ever be able to fill it. But we wanted a chance to tell you about the Charlie Kirk that we know and that we got to see up close. And we have Jack Posobiec, the great Jack Posobiec, the great Blake Neff, and the great Tyler Boyer, all gathered with myself, Andrew Colvett, executive producer. Our team is telling us that people want to hear more personal stories that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't know Charlie. So Blake, the floor is yours. Tell us a story about Charlie that you think people would like to hear or that I haven't heard yet.
Man, I'm thinking of a few things. Personal stuff. I think one of the things that always impressed me about Charlie was his immense personal discipline about everything he did. He had, his day was very ordered. Everything he did was very ordered, and he didn't deviate from that. And if you asked him about that, he'd be like, well, this is the smart thing to do. Why would I do something different? And the thing I'd always tease him about is the number of foods he ate, which is about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I would joke about this, and I'm not exaggerating. The variation of food Charlie ate was like grilled chicken, avocado, hot sauce, like cabbage,
he wasn't
lettuce,
always like that. Like this
salmon, I guess. And I think he used to have beef, but I think he later decided red meat was probably
Tyler,
more on the bad
when did
than
he
good
start
side.
doing that? He said it was like a couple years ago that he said he wanted to get back in fighting shape or something.
Yeah.
And
Charlie, as long as I've known Charlie, has always been very focused on what he puts inside his body.
Yes.
From day one. I remember, because when I first met Charlie, I was skinny, and then I got, dad fat.
Less skinny.
you got your road layer.
I got dad fat. I put on the pregnancy weight a few times throughout that cycle.
Campaign 30.
But Charlie was always, and he would always kind of yell at me, and Andrew, I'm probably sure you had some of these situations. Blake probably hasn't, but never got yelled at for what he eats. But he would be like, because I would pound sodas, and I was like, oh yeah, and then it caught up with me.
I was like Charlie's sin eater because I eat everything.
But he would eat piles of singular foods, so it would be stacks of broccoli. He would order that steamed broccoli, or he would order just meat. Right, it would just be meat, and then he would pound through it. He would eat as we're talking, like we didn't have time to waste as we were going. It would just eat. Later in life, I think he enjoyed meals a little bit more. But the early was we were going. He was always in the travel, ready to go, and he would just eat. And I would just sit there and be like, because I would order a normal sandwich and drink a drink, but he would just eat to eat, but it was always healthy. And he would always be like, you're going to eat that? He would look at me like, you're going to eat that? You're going to put that?
I actually remember, I'm pretty sure we were all there too. It was the night of the RNC when he gave his speech there, not the 16 or 20, but the 24. And I think, I want to, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he have a couple of chicken wings? And he made a huge deal about it.
He had a couple, and we had a huge pile.
Yeah, we had a huge pile of stuff.
It was a cartoonishly vast pile.
But it was each, as Tyler was saying, each box was a separate food, and then we had a whole bunch of chicken wings that we were all just chowing down on. And he goes, I will allow myself to have a few. Well, and that was huge.
He would find something he liked, and early on he used to say this all the time. He'd be like, you could build a religion around those things. Yeah. Have you ever heard that?
He said that so many
Have you ever heard him say that?
Yes.
We could build a religion around this.
You could build a religion around this.
When he found a food he liked, he'd be like, you could build a religion around this thing, or that thing, or whatever.
But it's the first time he's eating it.
But no, it would. No, it would be. I'd be like, oh, I think
these are great. These chicken wings.
You could build a religion.
Yeah, Charlie, we know.
I think I heard Charlie say that no short of 500 times.
When you say, there's certain set phrases that were just the Charlie phrases, and when you say them, you could just hear it in his voice because that's the only guy who talks that way.
What about you, Jack? Do you have a fun Charlie story that you think the audience hasn't heard or would like to hear?
Oh man, look, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just private, so that's like, how do you steep through that? I'll tell the story that from last year though, that I think is just kind of a funny thing. So Charlie worked so hard on these campus tours that people don't realize that he worked himself sick last year, and there were, I don't know, 2-3 weeks where he had no voice. He completely lost his voice out there on the campus tours, the campaigns, between everything. He was traveling so much and just picking up whatever germs and bugs and all the rest. And obviously with his health regimen and that he did what he could, but sometimes it just kind of doesn't work that way. And I remember we had talked about, and he was like, "Hey Jack, you're a Pennsylvania guy. We're doing this Penn State. I think it's going to be big. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll see if it works out with the schedule, etc." And then a couple days before the event, the day before the event, he sends me this text and says, "Jack, we need to talk." So we need to talk. I lost my voice. So then I call him, and he immediately hangs up, and he texts me back, and he said, "Jack, I can't talk. I lost my voice. I can only text." Yeah. And so he's like, I need you up here. And so I get up to Penn State, and the entire time we're there, and I'm with him, we're spending time, and he's like sending me text messages or just writing stuff on his phone. And you're like right next to him. Yeah, and he's like showing it, and I'm like saying it or tweeting it or whatever it is. And then as we're about to go, we have this whole thing set up, and there's thousands of kids. I mean, 5,000 maybe, because I know we brought
it was insane.
I know we brought
sea of red hats.
We brought 30,000 hats, but then we ran out, and like only about half of the kids had hats. So that's why I know it was double.
You would not believe the number of hats that Turning Point bought and still managed to run out. And it was insane. And then
the campus ended up shutting down the speakers anyway.
You need that many boxes. I want to just
we just threw out hats.
It was so many like the logistics of getting that many hats is actually to each campus was actually a marvel in and of itself. And you're reminding me of go ahead. I don't know if you had something you wanted to add, Tyler.
No, I was just going to say that the miracle of the organization of Turning Point, being able to do all those things, is what enabled so much of Charlie Kirk, right? Charlie wanted to be enabled all the time with every little crazy idea that he had. I would call him Charlie Kirk wild goose chases, like with stuff. It would just be like constant stuff, right? And it was just like trying to channel where those things would go. But the enabling of the staff to do the things that needed to be done, because Charlie was almost always right on these things. So he was always right on.
He was annoyingly almost always right.
Almost always right.
And when you got one that was right, you were like you would make a mental note. You'd be like, because it was 99-1.
But where he wanted to go with everything was always right, and he knew he had the vision. And the people who helped execute that deserve a ton of credit. Every person, I look at the videos from the campus tours. Every one of our activists that is there, that's volunteering to help hold microphones, to, standing in the gap there, especially in such scary times as where we're at today. They have been such incredible warriors, and that honors Charlie so much.
Yeah, we have this. Let's go ahead and play it. We have just enough time. This is Charlie eating with chopsticks in Japan with Blake, 479.
Oh, gosh.
So, is it like a big thing? Yeah, of course. Am I doing okay?
Yeah, perfect.
This is Noto.
Why is it so gooey?
Soybean.
It's very good.
It's so gooey.
It's very gooey.
Why is it so gooey?
Because it's fermented, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's great.
It's very good for you.
Blake, I remember you and I were on a chat when this was happening, or moments after it happened, and he was like, "There was literally 11 dishes in this thing. It was amazing. Oh, the Japanese food. I mean,
You can build a religion around this.
Yeah, people don't realize like how he would just get fixated on.
Yes, I would just love
like that.
How he would like interrogate me about things, because Charlie loved to learn things, loved to pick new things up, and yet he was also so busy all of the time. So he would send me on. He's like, Blake, you have to learn all about this thing so that you can just tell me about it when I need to learn about it later. So I'll go read a 300-page book about this so that I can just be ready when Charlie interrogates me. I remember once on a flight, it was like an hour, and he's just like, Blake, tell me about the Roman Empire. I'm like, the start or the end? He's like, whatever you want. And just started going off about that.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel. Stay informed anytime, anywhere with the Salem News Channel and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This has been The Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.